It's breathtaking, with the open desert and antelopes running free. This is a U.S. border with Mexico in Arizona.
These are the Gila Mountains.
But among this natural beauty lurks a dark problem. Drugs and human smuggling.
What types of people do you find out here?
In my 11 years, I've found anywhere from 6-month-old children to the most hardened repeat offender, criminal, drug smuggler, human smuggler.
Up by those hills, that's a crossing area.
For 3 days, WDRB was embedded with U.S. Customs and Border Protection, including air and marine operations and Border Patrol.
On the other side of this short fence in Mexico, you can see how easy it would be for people to just jump over and cross the border.
A well-orchestrated team of crime busters armed with helicopters, ATVs, trucks, and boat patrols.
This boat unit has been essential in regaining control of the river.
They all protect the border, including Agent Keith Grau from Florence, Kentucky.
It's not just everyday people just walking across. They try to hide their sign. They try to make it look like they weren't there.
The agents say smugglers are getting smarter, wearing camouflage shoes with carpet on the soles to blend into the desert.
It just doesn't leave a heel print, doesn't leave a toe print.
And the drug trade is so strong, people are willing to walk from Mexico and hide in mountains for days. Some are scouts paid about $1,200 for the dangerous trek. They alert cartels to agents' locations and are given drugs to stay alert and to fight off hunger.
You can kind of see some of the blankets stuff up under that, like that little cave.
The nearest water source about 30 miles away. But technology is catching them in this remote area. Sensors, cameras, and GPS help locate people entering the country illegally. Here, the hunt is on to find 3 men in camouflage.
Okay, they're hiding down now.
Seen on a Border Patrol camera the night before. We're in one helicopter. Another is moving in closer to try to push the men to stand up.
Your nose, about 20 yards. Roll bit, soft right for the truck.
It's a coordinated effort. The agent on the ground looks under shrubs and finds one, then the others as they surrender. The 2 backpacks the men were carrying held more than 37 pounds of marijuana.
The military has a checkpoint on this road just up here, a couple miles on their side, and they do catch a lot of drugs going through.
Agents say criminals get creative when trying to smuggle in illegal drugs. At traffic stops and border checkpoints in this area within the last few months, they found more than 1,500 pounds of marijuana in the back of a truck, with a street value of $618,000. 55 pounds of meth hidden in a car bumper, and meth disguised as popsicles.
In Kentucky, we're dealing with the fentanyl issue. This is where it's coming in to the country. How much are you seeing?
And for fentanyl in fiscal year 2019, so the last year, we seized over 51 pounds of fentanyl, which was a 640% increase over the year prior.
This is what $450,000 worth of meth, cocaine, and fentanyl looks like, all of it confiscated in one day. We traveled to a former KFC restaurant in San Luis, Arizona, where authorities found a nearly 500-foot drug tunnel in 2018. It stretched from here to a private home in Mexico. A traffic stop with more than $1 million worth of drugs led investigators here. A newly constructed wall is now up in that area. Double fencing makes it even harder to get in.
This wall is not, 100% guaranteed nobody can cross it. All right, it is possible for people to cross it, but it's important to understand that the reason that we put this in is, number one, for a deterrence effect.
But drugs, a lot of drugs, do get through the border and are often found in Kentucky. Customs and Border Protection says Louisville's UPS and DHL in Erlanger lead the nation in narcotics interceptions. The shipping companies work with law enforcement to stop drugs from hitting our streets. For this Kentucky agent, working here has been a huge change.
What do you want people back home to know about what you're doing here?
So we might be running into families. That's okay, they come across too. But there's a lot of bad people that come across, a lot of people that we shouldn't allow to be in this country.
People who have been previously deported, criminal aliens, gang members. We do catch a lot of rapists, child molesters, other sexual offenders.
So these agents have a lot of ground to cover as they continue their fight at the border.
With wide open spaces like this, agents say they can only do so much and more employees are needed. At the Arizona-Mexico border, Valerie Chen, WDRB News.
These faces and a woman in tears. A family with 3 children from Honduras, their dreams shattered at the U.S. border wall with Mexico.
Why do you want your family to live in the U.S.?
¿Por qué quiere vivir en los Estados Unidos?
Pues queremos una nueva.
Says she wants to come here, the opportunity for her kids. That there's a lot of, she said mafia, but gangs in her country. That's one of our integrated fixed towers.
WDRB was embedded with Border Patrol agents to see how they are battling drugs, human smuggling, and illegal immigration. For this family, it was a long journey that took months. This woman had another baby along the way and still kept going.
They traveled here by a bus from Honduras.
How old are the children?
¿Cuántos años su hijos?
Él tiene 4 meses.
2, 5, and 7. Baby is 4 months old.
Border Patrol cameras show groups of people easily walking across the border day and night.
The United States is still experiencing about 1,100 illegal entries every single day.
This map details where illegal immigrants said they were trying to go when they were busted at the border. More than 800 people were headed to our area. Deputy Chief Patrol Agent Carl Landrum says the wall is working.
Most notably, if you look at it, you can clearly see on the other side. And that was something that was key to all the agents, was the ability to see what's approaching on the other side.
A plaque marks the spot where the 100th mile of the wall was completed last month.
Every single place that we have put this structure in place across the entire southwest border, everywhere we put in new wall system, then their illegal entries have dropped. Period.
Numbers from U.S. Customs and Border Protection show at the southwest border, the number of people caught for illegal crossings continues to drop, from over 45,000 in October to over 40,000 in December. Last spring, there were more than 100,000 each month.
This barrier has been up for over a decade, and construction crews are working on the wall every single day. In this section, about half of the 5-mile project is already done.
The wall was a controversial campaign promise by President Trump in 2016.
What do you say to people who are critical about the wall?
Well, I would ask, why they thought it was critical. We understand that this is a tactical solution to a tactical problem here on the ground.
During his campaign, he vowed to build 450 miles by the end of this year. And as president, he's delivering. 192 miles are under construction. 274 miles are getting prepped. The president says this largest section comes at a cost of $4 billion funded by taxpayers.
What this is replacing is basically just a barrier. And especially with what we had before, it was old Vietnam era landing mat, just metal sheets that were erected in order to stop the flood of illegal entries.
The wall has access roads that help agents get to these remote areas easily and provide better lighting.
It also comes with a lot of technology that includes detection capabilities, it includes sensor capabilities, camera capabilities.
WDRB traveled through miles of the border in desert and mountains and areas where you can see traffic in Mexico. The new sections of the wall are 30 feet tall.
There are areas where the wall is not connected. There are different sizes of fencing. Is this the answer, 30 feet?
This answer at 30 feet, it is the answer. This is something that is sufficiently high enough that it will deter most people, around the world from trying to climb this.
But some people still try anyway, climbing over and falling like this woman who broke her back. Agents say tunneling is more difficult because a new wall runs underground too.
Anywhere from 8 to 11 feet in the ground, beneath us. That is a massive deterrent, and it greatly helps the agents that are here.
Agents say migrants are now focusing on areas where there is no fence. Armed and ready, this area of the Colorado River is patrolled 24/7.
You can see the fencing up. To the left is Mexico, to the right, California, and some people are just walking down that path into the grass and up into the U.S.
We trek through heavy bamboo to see other spots for illegal entries.
Take a look at the water here. It's very shallow, so it's easy for people to walk right into the U.S.
They say families with small children often use these easier routes.
You can see the wall that hasn't been finished yet. And then over here, discarded clothing, jeans, and a t-shirt. People jump this concrete barrier and then walk right into the U.S.
When they're caught, some are sent back to Mexico while their immigration hearings continue instead of being held in the U.S. But there's a loophole.
It was fair to say that almost half of all the people that we caught were children. And that's because the adults they were traveling with were looking to exploit the loopholes in our immigration system, that if they bring a child into the United States with them and they cross illegally, they have to be released within a certain amount of days.